everyone. I'm Tawana Bauer, Director of Recruiting, as Charlie said, for East Mississippi Community College. I have been with the college now since 2013. I started out in financial aid, moved into general recruiting, also worked as Associate Director of Admissions. Now am back as Director of Recruiting. Was actually a student here at EMCC, graduated with my associate's degree, and then of course transferred on. And East Mississippi is home to me. So I'm glad they opened their doors and gave me an opportunity to share with everybody what they offered to me. Glad to be here today.
Great to have you. Thanks for joining us, Tawana. So first of all, we're going to discuss the admissions process. And so for East Mississippi, when does the application typically open? And then is there a specific deadline, or is it mostly just rolling for you guys?
Okay, yes, our application for the next fall opens September 1st. That's always our launch date. So that application is for fall of 2022 is open now for those incoming freshmen. It is an online application, no application fee. So it is a free application. You can find that at eastms.edu. Click the Apply Now link and you're good to get started.
So it is an online application. Do y'all still offer paper applications, or is everything moved to completely online?
Pretty much everything is completely online. However, if there's an extreme need, we can work with that one-on-one.
Yeah, and I understand there are issues with technology, and it does present barriers for certain students, but it is just so much more convenient, and it's easier on both parties, on the students' end and on the college's end. So, I mean, it is great, moving into the online world, of course, but we do know that it does present, some barriers. So that's good to hear that if there is an extenuating circumstance, they still can. As far as items needed, so we know they need transcripts, but for you guys, are in progress or partial transcripts, are they necessary, or is it mostly just the final transcript? So what is needed for your application process?
Okay, yeah, for those first-time freshmen, the application, of course, and then we do request a unofficial in progress transcript. ACT scores are not required for admissions. However, you will want to eventually send that ACT score because we use that for class placement as well as scholarship eligibility. Then once the student does graduate from high school, we need the final official transcript with graduation date and official signatures.
So since you brought up ACT scores, let's move into that. So with ACT, are you guys super scoring for scholarship purposes with ACT?
No, we currently are not. We're only taking the highest composite for scholarship eligibility.
Okay, so highest composite. There is no ACT requirement for admission, so test optional there. Good deal. And do you guys have a deadline on accepting ACT scores? So some schools have that December deadline, or January or February. Do y'all have any deadlines there?
For first-time freshmen starting in August, August 1st is our scholarship deadline. So pretty much we will take even your July score for scholarship eligibility, as long as you can get that official score to us before August 1st.
So you need an ACT score before the scholarship deadline of August 1st. Perfect. And so going into that with scholarships, do you guys, obviously you offer ACT scholarships, but do you require a separate application, or is it automatic with admission as far as ACT scholarships go?
It is a separate application. It's called the Institutional Scholarship Application on our website under EMCC Scholarships. And then we also offer several other scholarships that will require a separate application for each individual scholarship you're applying for.
Okay, and so with that institutional scholarship for the ACT, so when you say others, like foundation awards, are those also included in that institutional, or is that separate?
The foundational awards are separate applications, as well as our departmental and activity scholarships are separate. And then we also offer a wonderful tuition assistance scholarship opportunity for our in-district students, and that is a separate application.
Perfect.
But all of those can be found in one place on the EMCC scholarship link.
Great. And so that covers most of our scholarship information. What is the minimum ACT score that is required to receive a scholarship?
20 to 23 is 700 a semester, 24 to 28 is 1400 a semester, and 29 and above is 3500 a semester for your ACT. And then if you're valedictorian or salutatorian, so first or second in your class, those scholarships get bumped up 500 a semester.
So in relation to the cost of tuition, that mid-range, like that 24, 25 range, that's going to get them half tuition, full tuition.
It will cover about 3/4, almost all. Our $1,750 is about our normal full-time tuition. So you're about to get it almost covered.
Yeah, you threw a lot of numbers at me, and I'm terrible at math, so I couldn't keep up with that.
Yeah,
I couldn't keep up.
Let's just say if you get that range and MTAG, you're probably going to have it covered.
Great. Okay, so that's really good to know. So talking about FAFSA, so we know some schools require the FAFSA. Some schools require it for all admitted students. Some schools just require it for scholarships, and then some schools don't require it at all. So where does East Mississippi fall along those lines? Is FAFSA required for your students?
The FAFSA is only required for the tuition assistance scholarship. So it's not required for all admitted students. It's not required to apply for the ACT-based scholarships. We may have a couple of scholarships like foundational that may suggest you do it, but we highly support and recommend filling out the FAFSA, because there may be outside scholarships that a student applies for that requires the FAFSA, and you never know what you're going to be eligible for until you fill it out. And then we would hate to see a student in this situation, but if they do end up needing a student loan for any type of reason, they're going to have it anyway. So we definitely have to have it. No questions asked for the tuition assistance scholarship, but we highly recommend it.
Yeah, and you touched on that a little bit, where I was going to say, even if y'all don't require it, there are great reasons to fill it out. And you mentioned one, in that some of your foundation scholarships, some of those extra scholarships that students may not know a whole lot about, may be financial need based, and that may be a great reason to fill out the FAFSA, because it could land you an extra $500 or $1,000. It may not, but you won't know until you fill that out and fill out that foundation scholarship. So I encourage all students, of course, to fill it out. Of course, get to college. We'll help you with that. So come see us. We'll get that filled out for you in 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and we'll do it all for free, as long as the website cooperates, that is.
Right, exactly.
We all know how that can be sometimes. So I would assume that there's no priority deadline for FAFSA for you guys unless it comes to that tuition assistance grant. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah, we obviously, the sooner the better is always the good practice. We always like to see students definitely have that financial information and everything covered by August 1st, just since that's our deadline. And it just helps them be less stressed going into the classes starting.
Perfect. So before we move into, I want to talk a little bit about academic programs. Before we move into that, can we touch on housing quickly, and just when does your housing application open? Maybe if there is a housing deadline.
Yes, our housing deadline application stays open year round. Because of spring entry for some students. It is online application. You will want to submit a $100 non-refundable application fee. Housing is assigned on a first come, first served basis. And you must be registered for classes to actually get placed in housing. So that is, with it being first come, first serve and needing a class schedule, although there's not necessarily a set date, the sooner the better.
Do you guys typically see a wait list for housing each year? Would you?
We have, until we, on our Scuba campus, we just built a brand new dorm. And
Nice.
so it has really allowed us to take more on-campus students. So that's been a blessing.
That's great. And that definitely will help those students, especially those late bloomers that like to, wake up in August and say, let's go to school. And I actually want to live there.
And I want to live there. You're right.
Yeah, that could be helpful for some of them, maybe. I mean, if there's still some spots available. So with academic programs, being a junior college, being a community college, we know that you guys mostly will offer the technical aspect, but also the academic route and the associates programs. Do you have any unique or favorite programs that you guys would like to push to high school counselors and students?
Well, yeah, obviously on the university academic transfer route, that's something we are known for as a community college. We definitely want high school counselors to remember that even though we may not offer a career technical program or a certain program that a student is interested in on the career technical side, that they still are going to need prerequisites and things like that to apply for. You can't, like we were talking about housing, you can't just show up at med school and say, I'm going to be a doctor. There's obvious classes you need to take. And so we can offer that to those students. So always keep us in mind on the university transfer route. And then it's so hard to really narrow down when you're talking about our career technical and our manufacturing side. East Mississippi is definitely known for our manufacturing programs. And we just opened a new state-of-the-art facility in 2019 called our Communiversity. So we've got anything from welding to industrial maintenance to systems-based automation and control, electrical, automotive, diesel mechanic, all of those that computer networking, all of those programs that can get you skilled and make you highly desirable for businesses and industries. And then we have fully online programs that a lot of people forget about. Medical billing and coding, our business office technology, business and marketing management, that you can get 1 year to 2 year, 1 year certificate or 2 year associate of applied sciences in all of those career technical and manufacturing programs. And so our allied health programs are so highly sought after. Surgical tech is one a lot of people do not realize that we have in our allied health. We have LPN and RN, of course. But I always steer away from listing them necessarily because we have so many. We have over about 35 career technical and manufacturing programs. So we just, give me a call, high school counselors, because we probably have it if you're looking for it.
And all those can be found on your website, I'm sure. So
absolutely, yes.
Look that up on the website. So before we, head out, anything new, exciting, or just, I'm going to open the floor to you. If there's anything else that I haven't covered with you that you would like high school counselors or students to know about East Mississippi that could be coming up in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing for a lot of our high schools outside of our district, we definitely want to make them aware that we are really a 4-campus school. But our 2 largest are Scuba, which has our dorms. And then we have the Golden Triangle campus that is 15 minutes from Starkville. And We have a lot of students from out of district that come and live in Starkville, and they'll come to Golden Triangle. Up here in the Golden Triangle area, we have the new Communiversity campus that has the manufacturing programs that a lot of kids are looking for. And then we have our Lion Hills Country Club, which actually houses our golf, turf, landscape management, and culinary arts program. It's a fully functioning country club. It's really cool. So keep all of that in mind when you're talking to your students, and they may want to move away from home but not get too far. EMCC can still offer them something in kind of scuba or Golden Triangle area. Then the other thing is just we also have a career assessment link on our website under our registration tab. That can be very helpful to students as they're kind of going to look into what they want to do. Our advising center and our navigators who help these students decide and get into the areas they want to go. That career assessment, along with our great advisors, is wonderful. The last two things I think that are very notable is we are gonna start offering LPN on our scuba campus starting fall of 2022. And our utility lineman program that has only been housed on the scuba campus, we are working on getting it offered at the Golden Triangle campus. So that's going to be two wonderful sought out programs that are going to be able to be offered on both campuses starting fall of 2022.
Yeah, it sounds like the Golden Triangle campus is growing, and has, a lot of big programs, so that you don't just have the scuba campus, but you've got that as a great option. And I told you I was going to try not to do this, but I am going to put you on the spot because you piqued my interest.
Okay.
So I don't remember exactly what you called it, but the golf course management program.
But turf management, and landscape and turf management. Yes.
Do you know off the top of your head, does that have any tie-ins to Mississippi State with their programs there, or is that completely separate?
Now, as far as just this great partnership that you do, the interwoven behind the scenes partnership of that, I am not up to speed, but I do know that that you can, especially now with the Bachelors of Applied Science that universities are offering, that there are more of those transfer abilities. And so they do have ties to state. I just cannot speak directly to what they are. The internships I do know out of that program are absolutely wonderful because they don't just focus on golf turf. They focus on all types of plant and soil and landscape management. And so they have recently placed internships at Yellowstone. Yeah, and so they have a lot of good and minor league baseball team, I think, was one of the internships. So it's kind of like all things green.
Yeah.
And
that is actually very fascinating to me. I'm sure some people are like, that sounds so lame. Like, why are you so interested in turf? But I don't know. That just sounds really cool. Those are some really interesting internship opportunities. So.
Yeah, and we have started back our men's golf team. So that ties in great with our country club and golf turf management program out there.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Tawana. We really appreciate you being here today. Thank you for updating us on all things East Mississippi Community College. That is going to wrap us up. And we want to say thank you to our high school counselors and students who are going to find this. And we appreciate it. We'll talk to you guys next time. Thank you.
Yes, thank you all. Thanks, Get to College.